Welcome to the Lean Podcast, where empowerment and alignment come together. I'm your host, Mahogany, here to guide you through inspiring stories of resilience, overcoming grief, health challenges, career struggles, and more. Together, we'll lean into strength, embrace growth, and discover the power of sharing experiences. Before we dive into today's episode, I'd like to start with a prayer. If you feel comfortable, I invite you to join me. Dear God, thank you for this space to uplift, inspire, and empower. Bless the woman sharing her story today and those who are listening. May this podcast be a source of hope, healing, and alignment with your purpose for our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Welcome, everyone. Today I am so pleased to welcome Janette Madlock-Dent, owner of Soulfully Vegan, also disabled veteran, woman minority business. Help me welcome Janette.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, first of all, for hopping on this podcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
Absolutely.
Um,
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited.
yes, you were one of the first people I told about this podcast happening, and you were like, "Hey, where's the podcast? Where's the podcast?" And I'm like, "Oh snap! People are looking for this podcast. Let me get to it." So I really
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, today, you guys, we have a very interesting episode waiting for you to hear all about health and wellness and how to get on board if you are not currently on board with your health. So, Janet, if you could give us a little introduction about yourself. Where are you now? Who are you now? And all those good things.
Where I am now the vegan vixen. And of Soulfully Vegan, I am the vegan vixen, and I go live on Facebook almost every day, sharing tips and tricks to vegan lifestyle. And I just share what I eat on a daily basis because most people think that a vegan lifestyle is boring, tasteless, and it is totally the opposite of that. And so I am right now sharing my love, my craft, my passion virtually for all to see and to learn.
Oh man, I love that so much that you're using the things you've learned to inspire people for free. You can't beat that. Like you can log on to Facebook and see tons of videos that you've recorded of you eating a clean, healthy diet, whether it's something you went out and bought that day or if it's something like leftovers in your fridge. So I think that's so inspiring.
Absolutely.
However, I do know you have not always been this way. We are not usually born in America eating clean and living that life. So, share with us, how did you get to this point of being the vegan vixen?
It started with a dare, actually. My podiatrist, Victor Horsley, dared me that I couldn't transition to veganism. And I was also a member of a church back home. And every January, we actually participated in the Daniel's fast, where there's no meat, no sweets, no media for the first 30 days of the year. So essentially, after a while, after a couple of health battles and little scares or whatever, I said, if I can do it for 30 days, I can continue on. And it wasn't, it didn't happen overnight. It was trial error research for about 10 years, I would say. And then one day I just decided to go cold turkey, as they say. Um, did not happen. I went into withdrawals because if you don't know, I will share with you that there are actually drugs in our food that keep us addicted. And so I was so addicted to the foods that I had to reincorporate fish in my diet for 6 months. Shrimp was my go to. After that, I took one bite, my body rejected it. 6 months later, the fish took one bite, my body rejected it. But before then, as I was sharing, I was 203 pounds. I did not um, transition to veganism until after my weight loss surgery. Um, and I share with those who are contemplating the surgery or just changing. Um, if you have any questions, I'm an open book. Please contact me, because I want you to be the healthiest version of you that you can be.
Wow, 203 pounds? That's hard to believe because you're so fit and like petite. Like I can't even imagine it. Share with us like how you were at your heaviest weight. How were you feeling emotionally, mentally, physically at that time?
I was totally depressed because prior to moving to Texas, I was only 145 pounds, if that. I always teetered between, I always had 133 to 145. It was always a teeter between about 12 pounds. So when I found myself here in Texas, and at 203 pounds, it wasn't until 2015, August 2015, I went back home for my 30th class reunion. And my son walked past me or drove past me in the parking lot. He didn't recognize me. And I knew then that I needed to change. So not only was I depressed at that point, because I had gained the weight, I was even more depressed and hurt because he didn't know who I was. And then I was also on insulin. Well, not insulin. I forgot that it wasn't Ozempic. I can't think of the name of it.
Was it
It's
metformin?
and no, it wasn't metformin. It was something that they gave me for an injection in my tummy. So my son actually walked in, and as I was teaching my younger children how to give me the injection in case something happened. And he says, "Mom, you've never been this big. You've never had to do this. You've always worked out." And so I made up my mind August 2015 when I was sitting in that at my mom's house in East St. Louis, Illinois, that when I returned to Texas, that I was going to contact the VA and get healthy. And I did. So I joined their MOVE program. But with the weight came the high blood pressure, diabetes. I was on a CPAP. I couldn't breathe at night. My asthma was off the charts. I could barely walk up a flight of stairs. Definitely couldn't walk a block. It was really bad. So, but yeah, I made up my mind August 2015 in East St. Louis, Illinois, that I was going to make a change as soon as I returned back to Texas, and that's what I did. So I joined the MOVE program, lost enough weight. They told me I qualified for the bariatric surgery that the VA was offering. Um, I I gladly accepted. And yeah, it wasn't until maybe a couple of years after that that I actually changed from standard American diet or SAD to my vegan lifestyle.
Oh wow, sad. Standard American diet. Just sad, man. That's did you
Absolutely.
make that up or is that like a thing?
That's a thing. That's a thing. The standard American diet is actually referred to as the SAD diet. And when you go to different countries, a lot of our foods aren't even allowed in those countries because it has so many drugs and chemicals in it that our bread isn't even allowed in another country. Not even the bread that we make. None
Not
of
even
our
the
meat,
wheat bread?
none of our breads are allowed in another country, and definitely not any of the meat because um, because the government allows a certain mm, level of carcinogens in our foods and meats and stuff like that. Yeah,
Wow, that's just
yeah.
horrible.
That's why
So
it's called SAD, our standard American
it's so
diet.
sad. That's so sad. And it's sad that we're eating it and it's sad that I have Chick-fil-A downstairs right now. So as we kind of reflect back, as we
hmm
stay in your past for a minute,
Sure.
had you ever applied to have the patriotic, patriotic,
Bariatric.
The bariatric.
bariatric.
Ooh, that's a word right there. Had you had applied to try to get the surgery before and were denied, or was this your first time when you had lost the weight?
No, this was my first time because I've always teetered, as I said, between those 12 pounds. I think my heaviest weight, even pregnant, my heaviest weight was 175. Okay. But my heaviest weight without being pregnant was maybe 165. And so I've always worked out. And so when I when I gained the weight, I again, I was just in a state of depression, and I didn't even realize how large I was until I went home, because back home in Illinois, everyone is accustomed to the small Jan, the 140, or the 133 to the 145, but everyone here in Texas was accustomed to the larger Jan, 165 all the way up to 203. So I didn't see any difference. But no, I had never, to answer your question, I had never applied. I just happened to qualify for it. I knew nothing about that program. I was just in the MOVE program, which actually gets you moving and exercising and all of that. And you meet with the nutritionist and all of that. And I just wanted to get moving again so I could actually lose the weight. And then that's when they told me I actually qualified for the program. I knew nothing about it, but I was doing so good within the MOVE program. They just deemed me a great candidate for it. And I am my surgery was in 2016, so I'm actually 8 years out. And I've maintained my weight loss. And so I've actually been featured with DFW Bariatrics, which is excuse me, which is actually my surgeon. He's no longer at the VA, but DFW Bariatrics, Dr. Seshin Krukasia, that's a mouthful. Dr. K, as we so affectionately refer to him as. But yeah, so, but no, I've
Oh,
never
wow.
applied anywhere else.
Okay, okay. I was asking because I know a lot of women who might be listening have applied before and were
Hmm.
denied, and some people give up, like, you know what, forget it then. But I'm glad to hear that the MOVE program started you off on a good track to be active before you received the surgery, so that way you
Absolutely.
can maintain it.
Absolutely, absolutely, and don't give up. Contact DFW Bariatrics, Dr. Seshin Krukasia, I think he's on Beckley in the Methodist building, I do believe. But yeah, simply amazing. They work diligently to get everyone moved. And if there's something that your insurance company is asking that you do prior to, they assist you with that, whether it's nutrition, whether it's psychological, they go through everything with everyone. I am an ambassador for DFW Bariatrics, and you can find them on Facebook and on Instagram. They do go live, and I do share my story on there monthly as well.
Okay, awesome. So y'all check that out if you're looking for this type of procedure to help you. Okay, so I know you mentioned that when you were at your heaviest, or around the time you were at your heaviest, you were falling into some depressive spells and depressive moments and things like that. So when you started the MOVE program and you started to see weight come off and you're feeling better, did that completely fix the depression or any negative self-thoughts you had about yourself, or did that take time?
It takes time. I still look in the mirror right now. I'm not depressed, but I still look in the mirror now and I still see that 203-pound person. It's very hard for me to purchase my clothing in my actual size, which is between a 2 and a 4, 2, 4, 6, depending on the maker of the clothing. I'm no longer depressed or anything like that, but it's really hard to see myself for who I am now. But I am proud of who I am now. When I look at pictures and I'm like, oh my God, your dress was a two. I'm very excited, and I'm very excited not only for myself, but to be an example for others, for those who think that they can't do it. You can.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for that. So, you did the MOVE program, you had the bariatric surgery, and then what happened next? How did you fall into veganism? How did you adopt this lifestyle? Was it right away, or what did you do next?
It was 2 years after, because my bariatric surgery, and I had the sleeve surgery. There are different, options that you can have. I chose the sleeve, or the sleeve was just best for me. I put it like that. Um, so I had the sleeve surgery in April of 2016. Yes, 2016. And my full transition to veganism came in July of 2018. So um, I chose it uh, because I believe in natural. Okay, also have a hair care line just for us, and it's natural. Okay, I make the hair care products. I don't use any chemicals. I make everything by hand, and I said that not only did I want to be healthy on the outside, but I want to be healthy on the inside, and so I um, I called, his name is Victor. I called Dr. Horsley. I called Dr. Horsley and I said, hey, I'm really serious about, transitioning. Can you give me some tips and tricks, pointers? And he just said something really simple. He was like, when you cook, just don't include meat in your recipes. And I'm like, so that was so hard to fathom that because I'm like, I've been doing this for 40 years. How can I not use meat? It was really hard to change my mindset. But it was a heartfelt prayer after a conversation with Dr. Horsley. It was a heartfelt prayer. And I prayed a heartfelt prayer that I wanted this change. And one day I woke up, started cooking, and I everything the standard American diet method, I was cooking it plant-based.
Oh, wow. So someone just gave you a tip where you're like, it can't be that easy, or can I even do that? Leaving meat
Exactly.
out of your meals. And then
Hmm.
slowly you made that transition over
Absolutely.
the course of 2 years.
Absolutely. Yes. And
Mm.
I just told my younger children at the time because it's you would think it's difficult to transition when you have children, but it's not. So I just told them, I said, hey, whenever I finish cooking all the meat that's in our freezer, our upright, then I'm no longer going to purchase meat and I'm no longer going to cook with meat. And I'm not forcing you guys to transition or anything like that. I'm just letting you know that it won't be meat in the house or animal products, no milk, no meat, dairy or anything like that, no honey or anything like that. And
Oh,
so it was easy.
wow, y'all went all the way with the
We
honey.
did. Yes.
Wow. They say go hard or go home. Like,
Uh,
do it all the way if you're going to do it all the way, but
Absolutely.
slowly.
Absolutely slowly. Yes, because it has to become a habit and it's a mindset shift. And if you force it, it's not going to work
Hmm.
because it's something that, like I said, if you force it, it's not going to work. I'll just leave it at that. If you force it, it's not going to work. You're going to resent it.
Hmm. That goes for just about everything, right?
Absolutely.
What would you say was some of the hardest parts of changing, not just not eating meat, but the whole lifestyle from being someone who was not really present or really mindful of their physical and their health to like not that I hate this term health nut because it sounds so stereotypical, but from like on it to off it, like what was like the hardest migrate of all that?
For me, I would say the hardest was just learning how to cook things. That was it. Learning uh, how to season the foods, to taste the way they did, the way my brain remembers them from the standard American diet. Um, when back in the day when your mom's cooking with the bacon grease and the greens and stuff like that, and the fat back and the turkey necks, and you got the smoke this and you got the smoke that or whatever. And now I know I just make my broth and I just add some herbs and spices, and it's the same taste.
Wow. So, what advice would you give someone who is, let's say, 80 pounds over their normal weight?
Hmm. Hmm.
They're feeling stuck, like they can't do this. They
Hmm.
don't have a supportive community giving them tips on how to do things. What's their best bet for getting out of that hole?
Call me. 817-797-3220. Call me. Follow me on all of my social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, because I share everything on my platforms. I share about 203 pounds. I share about the bariatric surgery. I share about so much. I share things that people are probably ashamed of, but it's life. And they're probably thinking, she's probably thinking that she's the only one out there thinking like that or feeling like that. And she's not. I'm here to let you know that you're not. So that's why I retired from vendor events, and I said I can reach more people on the social media platforms that are probably ashamed of how they look, what they're doing, and just like you said, they're stuck. And I want to help them thrive. Um, and if they want to lose weight, let's lose weight. If you want to transition to veganism, let's transition. If you want to remain within the standard American diet, let's focus on removing some of the things that are keeping you stagnated, or stuck within that weight that you're trying to lose. So, and I don't force veganism on anyone. I meet people where they are. All I ask is that you try it if you want. Um, yeah, don't knock it until you try it, because most people think um, vegan food is tastes like cardboard. I've had some that does taste like cardboard, but I'm different. That's why I chose the name affectionately Soul Foodly Vegan, because I go straight to soul food, green bread, mac and cheese, and so on and so forth.
I love it. I love Soulfully Vegan, and I've had your food, and it is scrumptious. It does not taste like vegan food because I have had the cardboard vegan food.
Yes,
And
so have
y'all, them food trucks need to stop. No, I'm just kidding.
I.
What key mindset shift took place for you to become vegan? I know it's one thing to someone points out, hey, you're looking not like yourself. What's up with you? To like fully like I'm gonna do this program, I'm gonna do it. Like for me, I know when I had took some pictures after I had my son, people were asking me if I was expecting another baby. That
Mm,
got my butt in the gym. However,
gotcha.
I know there is a certain mindset shift that takes place for a lot of people. For you, what would you say that mind shift was for you?
I wanted to live for my kids. I wanted to live. I wanted to live. I was on so many medications, as I shared earlier. I was on a medication for diabetes. I was on a medication for high blood pressure. I was on a medication for asthma. And then I had side effects from all of that. And then they give me medications for the side effects for the 3 or 4 meds that I'm on. And I no longer want to be on medications like that. And so your body naturally heals itself um, when your intake is natural.
Wow. So do you believe that people can heal diabetes, high cholesterol, blood pressure issues with their diet?
Absolutely. Um, I had my surgery maybe like on a Tuesday, no, maybe on a Wednesday or a Thursday. When I woke up the next day, I no longer needed insulin. I no longer needed they were about to give me. I said, "No, you need to check me first." I no longer needed my CPAP. I no longer needed my meds for high blood pressure. That was just within 24 hours. Um, so I can go a step further. I have a friend who lives in Florida. I talked to her today and I said, "Hey, is it okay if I use your story?" And she said, "Yeah, sure." So her A1C was 7.8. She was on diabetic medications for as long as she could remember. And I told her, I said, "Hey, just let me figure out how to ship to you, and then let's start on your transition to healing, not transitioning to veganism, but transitioning to healing." So for 2 years, I froze her food and I shipped it to her. She went from that's 7.8. I think she said she's down to a 5.4, no longer on her diabetic medications or anything like that. And her doctor told her, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So she's, I would say, 95% plant-based now. Every now and again she'll have, fish or something like that. But for the most part, her diet is or her lifestyle is 90. I don't like the word diet. Her lifestyle is 95% plant-based. So it she knows. And then I have another friend who has lupus, and she had to have, I think it was a lung surgery or something like that. And so I froze her food and I shipped it to her, and she just said that her healing was different. Her doctors basically said the same thing to her: whatever you're doing, continue doing it. So she's about 95% plant-based as well. So we know that it works.
Wow, wow, wow. You're out here saving lives, like literally.
Literally, yes,
So
we are.
what is if you have it on the top of your head, what's a normal A1C or a healthy A1C level for a female?
I don't have it on top of my head right now, but I know that as long as you're in the fives, you're good. In the sevens, you're not.
Okay.
Because yeah, I can't remember right now, but I know in the fives you're good. And I know at some point, I can't remember the numbers, that it's you're pre-diabetic and then you're diabetic. So in my world, in my mind, uh, I don't believe in pre-diabetes. That's just me. Either you have it or you don't. Okay. With my 5 point whatever it is, I don't have it. With my 6 or 7 point whatever I had at the time, or whatever she had at the time, she had it. Okay. So, yeah, but I don't believe in pre-diabetes. Most people say, "Oh, I'm just pre-diabetic." No, that just means that you're diabetic.
Just waiting
They
for the
just they
insulin.
just haven't
Just
exactly. They haven't given you the metformin. They haven't given you the Ozempic or whatever. They just haven't given you that yet. That's it.
wow. You know, I found it interesting. My husband recently was told that he may be pre-diabetic, and I looked
Mhm.
online to find the glucose monitor,
Mhm.
just to buy, just to know what you're putting in your body and what happens when you eat certain things.
Mhm.
And you can't find those things anywhere. You have to get prescribed that by a doctor. What do you think about that? I think that should be something that we should all have access to, just to
Uh,
know.
but if you did that, then Big Pharma wouldn't earn the money that they earn off of the medications. And so there's a documentary out. I can't remember if it's Forks Over Knives or if it's the other one. I can't remember. But there's one, and they actually feature. Um, oh my God, I can't think of the name of the company, but it's in anyway. It focuses on diabetes, and in small print, it tells you what not to eat. In small print, you have to really in small font, yeah, it tells you what not to.
Little tiny print. That's horrible.
Little tiny print, and we only read the big words. We don't read the small words, so you only see the big words. But they can legally say, "Well, we shared the information. It's right there."
Wow, that's horrible. Wow, I'm loving this. So, what words of empowerment would you give to any lady listening who is either on the heavier side, wanting somehow to get started on a healthier lifestyle, as well as the woman who's in the healthy lifestyle and is getting tired because you drive by, you see all these fast food restaurants, and it's like, wow, this is not worth it.
Well, let me say this first before I answer those questions. Every day, it's not, I'm not going to say it's a struggle. I'm not going to say it's difficult, but I'm just going to say it's different because for, I've only been living this lifestyle for 6 years. Excuse me. So that means for the first 50, I was partaking in the standard American diet or the SAD or, carnivore or omnivore or um, yeah. So
Pescatarian.
yeah, pescatarian, vegetarian. So that doesn't go away. When I smell brisket, ones are one of my favorites. When I smell brisket, I'm like, oh, that was one of the most difficult things. And so, and I'm gonna say to her, to you, and you who may be struggling with that, you can do it. You just you just separate yourself from that because if you want to grow, sometimes you have to go a different route, okay? If that makes any sense. So I have to take myself a different route. I can't always eat out at Texas Roadhouse with my friends and family. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I bring my own, or I just get a baked potato or something like that. But for me to continue on living the way I live and not, um, I would say, of being offensive to others, I just separate myself from that. That's just like being an alcoholic and going to the bar every day. If you're in recovery, you shouldn't go to the bar every day. Can you be around people who drink? Absolutely. But if you're around them, the people that drink every day, then eventually you're going to drink again. So for me, I just and for you, and you who are struggling, just separate yourself from that. Not being rude or mean or anything like that. It's self-preservation. You have to save yourself. And if it's about your health, you have to save yourself.
Mm. Save yourself. Put on the, what do they say? Put your mask on first.
Absolutely. Put your mask on first. Exactly.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for that advice and that empowerment for the ladies. My next question for you would be, what's one main thing that you've gained from changing your lifestyle?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Yeah. So, what's one thing that you've gained or you cherish from changing your lifestyle?
Oh my God. I sleep at night. I can breathe. I'm not on a CPAP. I'm not injecting myself with 2 or 3 different meds. I can walk a flight of stairs. I can work out. I can walk. I can do so many different things that I couldn't do before. So that to me is just simply amazing. It's just a blessing that yeah, that I was afforded this opportunity to live.
I love it. If you hadn't changed your lifestyle, do you think, where do you think you would be health wise right now?
I don't think I would be alive. I really don't. Because I was on so much medication, uh, medication for you're depressed. So they give you medication for depression. They give you medication for asthma. They give you medication for high blood pressure. They give you medication for diabetes. They give you medication. You're on a CPAP. They give you medication for swelling. Okay, because edema. Um, oh my God, my ankles looked like elephant ankles. You know, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it was really sad. So yeah,
That's so hard. I know it's true, but it's just so hard to believe knowing that, knowing you now at
I'm
this
blessed
space you're
that
in.
I'm given blessed me. Yeah, God blessed me with another chance at life.
I love it. Awesome. And to any ladies listening, where can you find Miss Janet?
You can on all social media platforms. My name is Janette Dent, or Janette Madlock-Dent. You can find me. I have two different pages, one with Janette Madlock-Dent, Janette Dent. So I have a, group, Soul Foodly Vegan page and a group, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all social media platforms. And please check out the videos. And surprise, surprise, we have my cookbook coming out. I don't think I've shared that. Yes. I should have that out within the next 30 days. So just in time for Christmas presents
Yes,
for
yes,
everyone.
yes.
So yeah, so Soul Foodly Vegan will be sharing their cookbook very soon.
Okay, ladies, stay tuned because you don't know if we're going to have some special prizes for y'all, listeners of the podcast. So be involved, be included. Well, Janet, I really appreciate you being here today. The information that you've shared with everyone is invaluable. It's always different to see a face and hear the story and be able to see that you can make it to the other side of any struggles you're having with your health lifestyle. I want to make sure there's no last words that you want to leave us with.
I
And you've
just
said a
want
lot.
I just want anyone out there, you you can do it. And if you need anything, again, I'm an only one. I've walked it, I've lived it. I got the T-shirt. So if you need anything, please for guidance.
Okay, you guys, so reach out to Miss Janet for any guidance you need at Soul Foodly Vegan and all the other platforms that she's named. And until next time, Janet, we are so thankful that you're here today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this, and congratulations to you as well.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning into Lean. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired, empowered, and ready to take on whatever challenges come your way. If this conversation resonated with you, make sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. And don't forget to share it with someone who could use a little extra encouragement. The Lean podcast thrives because of listeners like you. So let's continue to build this community. Drop a comment, leave a review, and let us know what topics you'd love to hear more about. And if you haven't yet, be sure to join our Facebook group, the Ladies Empowerment and Alignment Network, where the conversation and support continues every day. Until next time, keep leaning into growth, empowerment, and alignment. Thanks for being a part of the Lean community.